Hello everyone, it's Grandpa Hickory, the country boy and the farm. You know, a long time ago, out in the country, there was nothing for me but the farm. It was waking up every morning, it was dark outside, hurriedly getting dressed, wore coveralls all the time, running down to the breakfast table, just getting out of bed, not even awake, sitting there, and then mother bringing all the food out, put it on the table, and we'd all give, Dad would sit at the head of the table, and we would all give thanks unto God. We would join hands and give thanks to God for our food. Dad would say a short prayer, and then we were allowed to eat. And we passed the buckwheat honey around. We passed the gravy bowl. We passed the eggs. They were scrambled eggs. It's a big bowl of scrambled eggs. And we passed the bacon and the sliced ham. And then we passed the big bowl of biscuits. And all of us, we get about 4 of them. And listen, they were huge biscuits. Oh, listen. And we would all eat, and our lunches were made, and we would go and pick our lunch up. They had the name on each one. Then we'd go on down to the barn, and we'd get down there and get everything ready. And we'd climb up on the tractor and start the tractor up. And we'd drive out in the fields, and we were so sleepy. I mean, listen, have you ever ate a good meal? I mean, friends, have you ever woke up early in the morning and ate a huge breakfast? And you're out there, and boy, I'll tell you what, we were driving on that tractor, and we drove out in the fields, and we all had our section of field that we had to plow, and we had to do different things on them. And some would use the thresher, the others would use the plow. We just did all kinds of things. And a lot of them had the coastal fields. They had to do the baling of the hay. We didn't have big rows back then. We had bales, and you'd make the small bales, and then you go back in and you'd make large bales. And all this had to be done. And then about 9 o'clock in the morning, you'd pull up out. We all had trees out in the middle of our fields, and they were the only tree out there. And it gave off shade. We'd cut our tractor off. We'd park it in the shade of the tree, and we'd get off our tractor, and we would take our lunch over there, and we'd sit down and take our first break out, which was usually a sandwich and some chocolate chip cookies. And of course we had our cold water to drink. And then we would close our eyes, take about a 10-minute nap, and then we'd wake up, go back, get on the tractor and get back out in the field, get on the tractor and take off and keep on mowing. And we would keep mowing and mowing and mowing. And then when the sun was way up above you, you knew it was lunchtime. Well, you'd pull over and there was no shade. You'd park the tractor, you'd get off, you'd fan yourself trying to get cooled down, take your shirt off, you'd go over there and sit down. You had your lunch, you'd open it up, and there were sandwiches. We had our cold water, of course, well water. And we had sandwiches, and we sat there and ate. Then we would lean back against the tree, and we'd take about a 30-minute nap. Then we'd wake up, we'd get everything together and pack everything up and put our lunch kits back on the tractor and put everything up, clean up, then get on the tractor, start it up, and take off. And we went all the way to dark. And then when dark was over with, we'd drive back up. We were all in line. We had a huge tank that was full of diesel. And one after the other, we would pull up and get out. We'd take the hose connected up, and we'd turn on the the outlet, you'd pull it out, and when you turned the lever, the diesel fuel would flow by gravity, and you'd fill your tractor up. And after you finish that, you'd turn it off, and you'd secure the hose, and then you would put your cap back on your tank. You'd start the tractor up. You'd drive up to the barn, and you'd park it. You get off the tractor, and then you would go and you would take a bath. And we had baths. We had big wash tubs that we took baths in. And we had lye soap that my mother made. And we had brushes and things. And we would get out there and we would bathe and clean up. And then we'd get out and we'd dry off and everything. And then we would take our dirty clothes out to the wash out back where Mom did the wash. And we would lay our clothes out there. And they were neatly in a pile for her. And then we would go on in. And we'd go inside. And we'd all clean up, wash our hands. And we'd go to the table. And then we would have the supper. And Dad would sit there at the head of the table. And he would read the Bible. And we would all listen. Then we would have a moment of prayer. We'd join hands and pray. And then we would eat. Then after that, we would help our mother gather all the dishes up, clean table off, sweep the floors up underneath the table, clean everything immaculately. And then we would all go in there and we would sit down and listen to the radio. And we didn't have TV back then. We didn't have that. It wasn't even around. And we would sit and listen to the radio. It was an old radio, an old upright radio. I can't remember the name of it, but we would sit there and listen to radio, and sometimes the Grand Ole Opry would come on, and we would get to hear the different singers singing country songs. We would sit there and we would get sleepy. And then Dad would turn the radio off, and we had a fire going in the fireplace. We'd all sit around the fireplace, and Mom would bring in coffee for all of us. And we'd all have a cup of coffee in the evening. And we sat there with that coffee, and Dad would talk to us about different things and tell us about when he was a lad of a boy and how he grew up and the things that he did, and about a big hill is like a big mountain that my dad would go up on, and he was talking to us about the rocks, and he had a lot of fool's gold that he had found, and he would show us those things. But we'd sit and listen to him, and then we all, said good night. We all went to our rooms and laid down and went to sleep, and all the lights were out by about 8 o'clock at night. It was pitch black dark inside. We had kerosene lanterns and we had candles. When you went to the bathroom, you would use the candle that's in the hall. We had one candle in the hall, and you would go up and pick it up. It was like a cup. And you'd go to the bathroom, and you would take your turn in the bathroom, and then you'd clean up and everything. Then you'd come back out, and you'd take the candle back out there to the table in the hall, and that candle burnt all night long. And then you would leave and go back to your bedroom, and you climb back in your bed and go to sleep until the dinner triangle. My mother had a big triangle. And when you hear that triangle going off, it was time to get up, which is around 4:15 in the morning every morning, just like clockwork. But that's the way it was when I was a lad of a boy growing up. And I just wanted to come on and tell you good people, I'm asking you to hit the like button, help my channel to grow. And I'm inviting you to subscribe to my channel. I'm Grandpa Hickory, and I appreciate every one of you. Thank you so much for viewing my videos. You honor me. Listen, you have a good day, and I'll see you on the next video. And listen, hard work builds character. It really does. I am living proof of that.